So you're very welcome to Aduco Gym Live, except this morning it's not live. We've had to pre-record because we're doing a very special interview with Susan Morris. And Susan is a client of Aduco Gym. And she is someone who has embraced the Educo model to its fullest extent, to an extraordinary degree. And I think you'll be really excited to hear Susan's story and very inspired by it, because we're always inspired by it. And again, I'm joined by Jackie. And Jackie, how are you today? I know it's not morning, but let's pretend it is. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Saturday morning, everyone. Yeah. Super excited about this morning's episode.
Yeah, and Susan is a client of yours, Jackie. You're training. Susan's in fact based in Denver, so it is extremely early, or it would be extremely early in her morning. So we've done this in the afternoon, so that we're all wide-eyed and bursting with energy. Although I imagine that Susan, no matter what time of the morning it is, would be bursting with energy. But yeah, you've had great experience training Susan, and
yeah. And I suppose, Jamie, that's one of the good things that has come from the pandemic, is that we're able to reach people all over the world. And Susan and I train 3 times a week. I zoom in all the way from Ireland to Denver, where Susan's located. And yeah, we get the training done.
So it's a good time now. I'll introduce Susan. And Susan, thank you so much for joining us. We'll now you can see yourself in your fullest. And you're
I can actually, yes, because I'm not usually in this. Oh goodness! I just realized the battery in my telephone. I hope it lasts, guys. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
It's not as highly charged as you are.
Oh, so let's see. I'll censor myself. Let me see. That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
It takes getting used to, Susan. Yeah. To maneuver yourself.
Yeah, we love the glasses. By the way, they're very snazzy. They're almost Educo Gym blue. They're kind of just a little bit greener than our brilliant colors. Yeah. So we thought we'd start by obviously asking you a couple of questions. We want people who are tuning in on a Saturday morning to watch this, and we get such great feedback from different clients and different topics that we've covered, and we really for ages we've wanted to have you on. I suppose we can call it a show. To really talk about the model, and to give people what we're always trying to do is give people an idea of the kind of extent that they can go to by using the model. So often a person comes into Educo Gym looking to lose a little bit of weight, improving their health, trying to get their energy higher, whatever it is. But we want to try and make them aware of what's possible by using the model. You get a result in the gym, and then you understand the model that allowed you to achieve that, and then how do you apply it to other areas of your life? And you've had such extraordinary success in all areas of your life, and including in business. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about how you started on your Educo journey.
Well, Jamie, Jackie, thanks, by the way. I think, like many of your listeners around the world, we have often asked, and maybe even more so at this time, because of lock-in, we've asked ourselves, what's life about? What's my journey? And I remember asking myself those questions as a young person, actually, growing up in Belfast. And then I went down to Trinity and studied geology there. But I still was fascinated. And even studying geology, I would go to an evening special club it was something about the evolution of thought, of scientific thought. So I know I was fascinated, as I believe most people are, on how we work. How does somebody like a Gandhi go for it? And yet somebody else maybe get sucked into as much as a depression. And so anyway, I was hard and went to America. And I didn't realize, but the traveling to America was actually teaching me something else. And that was something about mindsets. Because I had looked into the United States, and what I felt made it tick was entrepreneurism. And so I decided when I got to America, I was going to become one of those things, because it wasn't a word that was used very much in Ireland back in the late 70s, actually. And so I had a mindset, an idea, a sort of almost an attitude that I was going to, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. I was going to become one of these entrepreneurs. And I did. I did 3 years into, after graduating, I became an entrepreneur, had my own little company. But that wasn't the depth of what the question was. However, I kept going. And it wasn't until someone asked me, how did I have a particular invention? And it was called the International Pavilion. And it basically was, I had seen various opportunities all around the world. And I wanted to know how to bring the opportunities to the United States, because the price of oil was so low then that everybody was out of work, a bit like today, actually. And so I had this sort of idea and did it. And it's been a tremendous success. However, people said, would you come and teach it? But I didn't know why somebody jumps out and goes for it in one area. And I didn't even know if I could do it again, because I didn't know what I had done. I couldn't answer the question. And about the same time, a well-known geologist called Wallace Pratt said, oil is found in the mind. And these two elements, plus that natural curiosity I believe we're all born with, came together. And I started on a major research. I'm a scientist, a geologist, for a course that would allow me to understand the way I understood a lot about the earth. I wanted to understand my mind and how people and the earth and our way to work together could be understood, not just by myself, but I wanted to answer the question for others, because I hadn't been able to. And I looked everywhere. I looked in California and India and back through time, all the way back to Socrates, know thyself. But I wondered, I couldn't really see a lot of evidence for even the greats like Socrates and Plato having had the sort of impact that I believed in my readings that they were after. And so I was introduced, in essence, by Patricia Fitzpatrick from Ireland to the Educo seminar, the Educo model. And I was in Denver, she was in Ireland, and I had met her actually through some mutual friends. But what I ended up doing was heading to an Educo seminar totally by myself and totally trusting my gut feel on it, and trusting that this was a move that was going to lead me to the answer, which is what I'd been searching for. And that was in 2002, January 2002. I remember it like it was yesterday, because it was the key turning point in my life, getting to know exactly how our mind works and impacts everything we do, and the depth and understanding behind not just success, monetary success, but success at the business of living.
That's brilliant. And so if you were, because we absolutely love before and afters, and often we're dealing with them physically, but if you were to give a good idea of before you went on the Educo seminar and then after you went on the seminar, what would you say are the main differences that you noticed? And sometimes it's difficult to be conscious of it, but if you were thinking about it, what would you say is the main difference to how you're operating?
Wow, it was like night and day. I had realized, because it was 12 days, the seminar, and I'd realized actually about the third day that I was not only in the right place, but I was learning and opening and being drawn out by a force that I had only had glimpses of in my life. But it was very definitely very much definitely coming from me and being drawn out by Dr. Tony Quinn in a most profound and yet enjoyable, fun way, because I was getting to know my true nature, my own joie de vivre. And, you know, not as soon as I'd finished the course, I jumped to Belize and, of course, told everybody. And in essence, Mike Usher did the Educo course as well. And we very much decided with a group of Irish people to set up Belize Natural Energy and go for the dream that we had had and tried. We had tried for 15 or 16 years to discover oil with and for Belize in a different way than ordinary oil companies. We wanted it to be about the people, about the beauty, about the togetherness of the resource within and without, actually. But we didn't even have the vocabulary until we'd done the seminar. So not only did we have the force, the excitement, we had the vision, and that's a critical part of it. We could see so clearly not only how to build your vision, we might call it dare to dream big, but how to build it so that it actually becomes real within yourself and on, let's just say, the energy of life. And
so for just so for people who maybe haven't met you before and haven't heard your story, so before you went on the seminar, did you have this idea of, I mean, maybe just giving a little bit of background. So Belize Natural Energy is a company based in Belize, which was formerly British Honduras, isn't that right?
Yep.
And in Central America. And you've been famous worldwide for discovering oil in around, what was it, around 2005, was it? Yeah.
5, yep.
Yeah, and for those of the people who don't know, Mike Usher was a Belizean who you had met and who joined you in your dream and vision that you would hope to discover oil to really benefit the people of Belize and the country of Belize. So that's about right. And did you have the idea before you went on the seminar? You did, didn't you?
Yes,
and it was
big
kind
time.
of,
you know, Jamie, you hit a key, because it's about the word sort of purpose. I had been invited to go to Belize by Sir Ian Rankin, who was quite a well-known business person in the UK, and he had, in his very proper English voice, had said, "Is there any oil here?" And I had actually done a bit of geological research, and the great thing about a geologist is that you can be a time traveler, and that you've got to use your imagination, because there's no way you can, see what's under the ground. So I felt when I did those quick studies that there was oil in Belize. And Ian said, "Come on down." I went to Belize, and this is what I didn't know would happen. I fell madly in love with the people. Yes, I felt in my heart, whether it be my geology heart or my heart, that there was oil there. But there were 50 dry holes, and everybody told Mike and myself that we were stupid, loco, as they say. These big major oil companies have all tried, ConocoPhillips, Shell, Mobil, etc. Why do you and Mike think you can do it? But we tried, and we tried for 15 years before doing the Educo course. And that's an important thing, because it's not just about passion or desire or even wanting to make a difference. It's actually about understanding the importance of the alignment and the workings of our own mind. That was the missing component when Mike and I went to the seminar. We together, of course, wanted to find oil with and for the people, but now we had the mechanism. Now, what happened? Mike suddenly passed. He was a young man in his 50s. He died of a hernia. And I didn't know what I would do, but an extraness, an extra energy came up in me, in a way for him too. And I named the well, the Mike Usher #1, the first well we were to drill. And we were a band of 76 Irish investors who wanted to make this difference. Now, they didn't even know where Belize was. but they had all done the Educo seminar. And so they understood the power of us understanding our mind and that visionary capacity, which was drawing us out to actually see it already done. Mike and I and the group saw the oil before we even brought in the ring. And that's a critical component to understanding our own capacity in this partnership with life, with God. And it was such a time. We started to drill. I remember it like it was yesterday. And on the 24th of June, 2005, on the first well, named the Mike Archer #1, we hit not just the first oil, but the best oil in the world. So light, it still goes into the generators without refining. It's a miracle. It's been a series of miracles constantly, day by day. And just to tap it all, Mike had died. We didn't realize this until about 4 days later, because we were so busy with the discovery, that Mike had died on the 24th of June, suddenly, 2004. And on that exact day, against all odds, in the well named after him, we had hit the first magical oil in Belize. Wow. And that gave us all a realization that this life is bigger, is much bigger, and that we had an example to share with the world. And that is exactly, in your introduction, as you said, this is now famous throughout the world, not just for an oil discovery, but actually for doing it holistically with the Educo model, or let's say with the Educo model being the essence of ourselves, because it's us. And that is being shared with the people. And that's where we're going today.
I've heard that story a few times, and I still get goosebumps. It's just
and it's Susan, it's written about in The Secret, because the book The Secret that came out there about 10 years ago, they actually talk about that miraculous discovery of oil that you and Mike achieved. But I think the fascinating thing is the fact that you tried to do it before, and it wasn't until you actually went in the seminar, you got the education of the Educo model steps from Dr. Tony Quinn of how to really imprint that clear, invincible vision that, as you just said, you were drawn out then. And it was almost like it's magic how these things happen. You know, even Tony would often say he doesn't know how it actually happens, but he just knows the steps to apply, that once a person applies it, it just comes, you know, it's drawn out from within. Like our logo, the Super You, you know, go from you to the Super You, and it goes up. And that's what it's all about. So, you know, you were quite successful in business, and then you understood the mechanics of what you were applying. So now you can put that into every area of your life, like discovering oil. And, you know, just to ask as well, Susan, Educo Gyms became a franchise in 2007, and you decided to invest in a few machines and get involved. Can you tell us why you did that?
Yes, and this is a critical component, actually. And I can see why Dr. Tony Quinn invented the time machine, as we call it, because it literally is a way to get in touch with the essence and the energy within yourself right there in 15 minutes. Jackie, you and I have just done a workout, and it brings the energy together in a concentrated, focused force, and you can actually feel and see what we're talking about today. And so it's a magnificent way for people to experience, not just hear about, talk about, read about, but to experience the Educo model in full action. Is when you're doing those weights and you surprise yourself by, what did I lift? 340 pounds on the leg press. and I'm in my 60s.
Yes.
I love showing off to young people about that.
But that goes to show, Susan, you know, Susan, it is about the mind, and it's about strengthening the mind. And I suppose what I was, you know, we had a Gareth, another client of ours who came on and did the interview with us there a couple of weeks ago. But Gareth actually came into the gym, he did the training, and then eventually he went out and followed the whole model through by doing one of the seminars. But you went straight to doing the seminar, and then you actually decided, oh, hold on a second, because I do believe that Educo is a holistic approach. It is a holistic approach to living. So it's not just about business or just relationships. It's about the whole health and well-being of a person. So you recognize that, and then you decided to get the machine, not only in your company B&E, but you have one at home. Like I suppose, Susan, I was thinking, like, you're in the fortunate position, like Jamie and I, that you've access to one of these amazing time machines. And it's nearly a year now that we've been actually training with each other. You know, and you put a huge importance on that. And I have to say, in the year, I think bar a week or two, we haven't trained. So, you know, you prioritize that. You know, so what impact does the Educo Gym training have on you, you know, your in your life and in your business? Why do you prioritize it?
Well, just as we're on to, you know, the structure of my everyday life throughout this lock-in time has been, just beyond enhanced. In fact, I can only see and feel and be the silver linings because starting the morning off at 8 o'clock in the morning, which I do, which is about 3 o'clock in your day over in Clare. And by the way, I've got all sorts of gyms here in the United States, but none of them have got the total full picture of the mind, body, and the essence or spirit of ourselves. And that's why I know there's a number of people who beam in from all around the world into the Educo Gym because it is unique and it gets results. Now, I needed it and wanted it in the middle of Belize Natural Energy for all the employees. And it has made the difference because we let them go in. It's only 20 minutes. We encourage them to go in and do their workout, and they come out with a cleared mind, and they're able to think around maybe a question like, how do we find more oil? Or how can we bring the oil down into the revenue streams of the country? This is the insight you get, believe it or not. Especially if you're mulling them over and you work out, you create that focus and you totally enter that space, which some people would call the flow or the zone, but it's even more than that once you know the mechanism. And the insights come out, and you can walk out of the gym at B&E and have the answer to a number of your problems. So we didn't want to keep it for just B&E. So we put thanks to Albert Garcia, it's all about finding great people, by the way, too. Finding and drawing greatness out of people. Because Albert, who is our head trainer in Belmopan, which is the capital of Belize. And actually, I've got to say, it's one of the most beautiful Educo gyms in the world. But then I'm a bit biased. I'm sure the ones in Dublin are nice too. But the people come in there, and I just got to tell you one, because people will say, well, Susan, I don't want to discover oil somewhere. And I said, no, this is about discovering yourself, the true nature of yourself and what you want and desire to make a difference in this world. So the chief of police of Belmopan came in to the gym, and Howell Gillett, and he said he'd heard a bit about us utilizing the power of our mind. And he said, I want to understand the criminal mind to actually get to grips with it, to prevent it. And he went along to the seminar. And when he came back, this is about 2.5 years ago, when he came back, he reduced crime in the capital city by 52% that first year, just by understanding how the mind works and applying it to his passion, his job, his desire to make a difference in Belize. And young entrepreneurs around Belize. There's another one in the Mayan world called Elsia. She was taken under the wing by a number of the people in BNE who had done Aduco, and it's called Energy for Life. They had actually helped her even get a high school schooling. And then they found that she really wanted to be an entrepreneur and understand how to do that. Then she went to the seminar, and there is no stopping her. She has been recognized by the Queen of England, and there's the most wonderful picture of the two princes about 2 years ago on either side of her, giving her the Princess Diana Legacy Award in honor of her mother. And she is now sharing it throughout the Mayan community in Belize. And you know what's amazing? That this was the original vision that Mike and I had, to not just discover oil, but actually the empowerment, the passing on, the drawing out of this exquisite, unique educational system, the Aduco model, out of everybody. In fact, not just Belize, because that's what attracted the UAE, thanks to Josh Stewart, our director. He had been on the seminar. He went and formed XJet, the #1 private jet company in the world. And part of his vision was to live and be successful in the United Arab Emirates. And that came together then with Belize and BNE, and we signed the most amazing joint venture at the United Nations in 2015 between one of the most powerful countries in the world, the UAE, and Belize, whom a lot of people hadn't even heard of, but they could see and hear in BNE, in the Aduco model, in Josh, and the replication. And that's the key, by the way. It's Tony has found an educational model, has worked on, is presenting an educational model to us that is within us, but allows us to be and draw out the absolute best partnership of all and fulfill our most magnificent dreams. And that's what's happening globally right now. It may seem like a gym, but it's so much more.
It really is, and that's what I absolutely love about it, because I love the gym, but why I got involved with the Aduco Gym was because it transforms people's lives. And when people come in, they don't know, I suppose they come in saying, yeah, I want to get into shape, but I think underneath it all, most people are looking for more. They're looking for more energy, they're looking for more life force. And the first basic step is for them to start training on the machine. And because with those heavy weights, it draws their attention, it pulls their mind together, they start to feel so much better. And then they eat the right diet, that causes their life force to come up and they feel even better again. And then they go further and take the step of doing the Aduco seminar. So I suppose Aduco Gym it's very different to your regular gym, because regular gyms, you go in, you train, you eat a good diet, but it kind of stops there. Whereas our whole system is incorporating the whole person. And to really understand yourself, you do have to understand your mind. And Dr. Tony Quinn is pioneering the educational model for the whole area of the mind. And Susan, you might tell us a little bit, because you about the Get Energy Award that you won. So BNE has won a lot of global awards. You might explain about that Get Energy Award, because I think he beat 53 countries or something worldwide.
Yes, I'm hearing quite a bit of static. I don't know if you are as well, but I will keep speaking because it seems to just go away now. So yeah, we dared as a little company to enter this Get Energy Award, where countries, like Malaysia, the United States, Canada, the UK, countries all over the world. In fact, we were competing against 50 countries it was the educational award, but that had the lasting, sustainable effect. And we had to provide both a video and a written text and an interview. And we put it all in. And I could actually, you know, I could see us winning because we wanted to share. We wanted to share this with everybody. And so when I went with actually Patricia Fitzpatrick, we went to a place like Buckingham Palace in London, and all the countries were there. There were over 50 countries in their regalia. And at 8 o'clock, they suddenly announced Belize, BNE, and I levitated. I don't know how I got over the line, but I levitated up. And I know people were saying, "Where is Belize?" But I went up. I literally, there's a great photograph somewhere of me grabbing the director. And I was so full of joy and pride. And how could I even say it? Because I knew this partnership with Life was going global. It was being recognized, and it was far bigger than just us. It was about humanity finding that, not just direction, finding that place that we were born with, that incredible being, and that we're.
Seem to have lost Susan's volume. Yeah. Oh, we've lost her. Great. So sadly, we lost Susan. Her phone just doesn't have the same level of energy that she does. But you will have heard there all about the awards that BNE have won and the impact it's had on the community. And you can clearly see the impact that Aduco Gym has had on every area of Susan's life. And we were just saying before we came back on air how diligent that Susan is. I mean, she literally trains, what do you say, Jackie? Trains 3 times a week, doesn't miss it.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible, like, because, you know, Susan's in her late 60s and the way she prioritizes training impresses me. So literally it's a year on, and bar 2 weeks, I think, she has trained religiously 3 days a week. So I would also like to say to people out there who are listening and they're in their 60s or their 70s even, because we do have clients. I think what is the age of the oldest client, Jamie? I think 80 or something like that.
Mid-80s, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's about you're feeling good on a day-to-day basis. And I suppose the reason Susan prioritizes the training is because it brings up the energy and it brings up the life force. And remember, you know, you've heard us say in other talks that the more we can kind of be full of more of that light and that energy, then life just kind of sails. You know, it's more of an enjoyable experience on a minute-to-minute basis. So there are disciplines that you have to do, and you know, one of those is training, and that's a discipline to cause your energy to come up, keep your body firm and fit, and keep you looking young and feeling young as you get older. So our machine as well, Jamie, sorry, so we have our time machine, and for people who are a bit older, it's fantastic because it's foolproof. It's very difficult to get an exercise wrong on our machine, so they're very secure in it. So it's it's worth coming in to start training and just turn the years back.
Yeah, you could almost say it's like training for dummies, except it produces such incredible results, and it turns people into geniuses, really. So it's training for dummies, but yet not. It's more like creating a genius. So and really because of the effect that it has on the mind. And Susan, I think, described it very well, and why she put it into a business. Because one of the questions we didn't get to ask Susan is really why a company should consider putting an Aduco Gym into their business, and why they should even get their employees or their teams to train in that way. But it is like that. It's that creative force that it draws out, and particularly when you get your mind into that state of what we call unconscious attention, what other people might describe as the flow or being in the zone, except it's so much more, as Susan said, when you start to experience it. It really is this way of getting your mind aligned, and then something seems to come up inside you, and it's that magic that we are so excited about getting people to understand and experience for themselves. And really, I mean, I don't know what you would say, but what would you think is the best way for somebody to learn more about that and to experience for themselves?
Well, I think also Susan mentioned, and from a business point of view too, people are time poor. So the 15-20 minutes work incredible, like, you know, and you don't have to be hours in a gym. The 15-20 minutes produces results. So even from a corporate point of view, having one of our machines in their companies is of huge benefit. And just to say too, I know that, Jamie, when I was in Bagot Street Aduco Gym, when I was running that one, you know, we had a lot of employees from a particular company, a big multinational, training in with us, and you would have had them down in Docklands and in Dundrum as well. And I remember going into this multinational company and looking at, you know, they state-of-the-art facilities. I mean, state-of-the-art facilities with gym equipment, classes, you know, all their protein bars, their shakes, everything's provided free of charge for them. But yet we had a huge number of them coming in, training in the Aduco Gym and paying a big enough monthly fee when they could be getting something free. So I think people, so people just loved it, because I suppose first and foremost they're getting results, Jamie, you know, and it is only 15-20 minutes. So from a corporate point of view, for if you really want to invest in the wellness and the well-being of your employees, prioritizing their health is a must, and I think companies are starting to realize that now. So our machine fits into a small space, and your employees are only taking 15-20 minutes out, which is, you know, causes their productivity to come up, because they have a clearer mind, they have more energy, and it has a knock-on effect, as we know, in not just their physical shape in their mind, but in every area of their life.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think ultimately to really experience and to understand the full value of the Aduco model, doing the Aduco seminar is absolutely priceless. And, you know, the initial amount that you invest in yourself by doing the seminar, you'll notice that it's repaid, I don't know, 1,000-fold. It's just absolutely magic. So, and you can obviously see from somebody like Susan the impact that it's had. And I think people will relate to her story that are listening to this. Maybe not relate to her results, but certainly will relate to how she thought about it, how she went about it. And, and you know, if that is the thing that's driving you watching this, then I wouldn't hesitate. I'd get in touch with us and see how you can start your Aduco experience and start to see some of the magic happen in your life. So that's how I think we should maybe wrap it up, unless you have anything else that you'd like to add, Jackie.
No, just that we are going to be coming out of lockdown in the next, you know, couple of months, and, you know, life will get back to normal again. These seminars will be, I can't wait for these seminars to start again, because I personally just love to go on once a year, but they will be starting again. And, you know, as Jamie said, contact us, find out more about it. So if you're sitting there and you're listening to this and you're thinking, yeah, you know, I feel there's more to life, you know, I'm missing that something extra, because there is a void in people, and that the void is what we're talking about, actually. You know, we're telling you the answer right now, as in, you know, do Dr. Tony Quinn Aduco seminar and fill the void, understand what's happening in your mind, connect with life, connect with your innate power inside, and, you know, live a life that's getting better as you get older. Remember, Jamie, sure, our logo goes like this. So draw out all those wonderful, amazing results that are important to you, for you in your life. So
100%.
That's all I want to say.
Yeah, great.
On this beautiful Saturday morning.
Beautiful Saturday morning, and we hope it is beautiful. Because we're good, but we're not that good. We haven't quite worked out the clairvoyance for the weather forecast. In fact, I don't think anybody has. Anyway, so thank you so much for joining us, and we really hope you enjoyed it. And if you get to watch this later, we hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions for us, please do drop it in the comments. Do let us know if you watched it live. We might not be live, but if you watch it live, please do write live. And if you watch the replay, do just put replay, and then at least we know you were there. So thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing you again next Saturday week. It's very confusing.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. And
you get a morning off, Jamie.
I know. Doing this is normally my morning off. It's when I have to suddenly jump in and look after the children that it's suddenly not a morning off. So it's the opposite for me. Anyway, thanks so much, everybody. Really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you. Goodbye. Thanks, Jackie.